Now, the Chopinier, would this work? Right. Chopin's bicentenary is a lost opportunity because nothing, apart from the very small amount of money they gave me, thanks, has been spent on education. It's all been spent on getting Lang Lang from abroad and getting, great pianists to come and play for who? Well, probably not you, and probably not your children, and probably not many of your friends, because you have to be rather special to want to go to the Philharmonic. Short hair, neat, polite, well-spoken, understand what you're listening to, be respectful, not boo, not clap in the wrong place, not be moved by the music. Oh, if you clap in the wrong place, Mr. Witt turns around and says, don't do that. Yes? My what is wrong? Lang Lang. You were there? You weren't? No. Lang Lang. No. What? But that's bollocks. That's absolute bollocks. You see, that's exactly the point. How can you introduce music to children that don't know anything about music? What is the point of speaking to them in Hindustani if they only speak Polish? You see, there's a terrible assumption here, and it's an arrogance of the elite, which is saying, music is good for you. We are speaking down to you. We are giving you Lang Lang on a film. Marvelous of us, terribly nice of us, isn't it? Oh, gosh. Right, for kids, yes. But it's not being used where we need it. It's passive listening. What we need is active music making, because it is active. It is active. It is doing. You see, all today we've been listening to people telling us about, actually fairly passive activities. I know playing on the internet is but working on the internet is terribly proactive. But it's not really, actually. What's proactive is smelling somebody else's sweat. Is coming close to them and sort of saying, don't criticize me, or I'll criticize you. All right, you can. Oh, okay. It doesn't happen, does it? You get all these bright young people, they're smiling and they're nice, and they say, oh, yeah, you're really keen to do this. And then, under the surface, what you discover is there is granite resistance. The blame culture. Now, my prognosis is this: unless we address the blame culture now, and allow people to come together, to work, to exchange ideas at a very early age where they need to learn to do it, to learn the value of individuality as opposed to individualism, me. Poland will be a failed state in 15 years' time. And I'll tell you why. At the moment, Poland, despite what the government says, is living off aid, AID, from the European Union. It's not even using the bloody aid. It's not even applying for the money properly. It's not even getting it. We haven't even got a road that goes from here to Poznan. For God's sake, what is essential that we create an environment in schools where children will learn to share ideas, not to speak in parallels. A young man I know came back from 3 years in Oxford. He said the first thing that struck him coming back to Poland was that Poles don't discuss, they make statements. The communists in Italy talked about converging parallels between them and the Christian Democrats. Converging parallels. And in an Italian Baroque sort of way, they converged. Poland doesn't have converging parallels. It's beyond the logic of the place, thank God, actually, in a sense. But we have to learn to compromise. We have to be able to see that the glass is not just the glass, but it could be an elbow rest. And it's up to you. And that's why I'm here, because I want to make you so angry that you will go away and you will go around to Mrs. Gronkiewicz-Waltz, who was very nice about my tie, actually, when I gave her a letter criticizing her policy towards music, to which she promised to reply to me the following week, promptly lost the letter. But I wasn't stupid. I took it round to her office and had it stamped in, and they lost that one too. And I went every 29 days for 4 months until I got a reply, which said nothing. It said nothing. Because, you see, rather, I'm afraid, young man, rather like your statement, we are not turning the glass upside down. We are saying, music is good for you because we are academics and we are elite, and you down there will have what we give you to listen to. We are not going to liberate your minds. You're going to sit back and think, oh, gosh, isn't Chopin wonderful? Well, you can only have so much Chopin, believe me. And may I finish with Chopin? Chopin is a model for every young person in Poland, not because he left, but because he did one thing. You may not know this, actually. Did you know he never had a piano lesson after the age of 7? And this was fundamental, and you must reflect on this, about the way you're taught and the way you learn. Chopin learned harmony, he learned to play the violin, and then he found the piano more exciting. So he started writing music. He improvised fantastically. Did you notice that our musicians this morning, as wonderful as they are, and they're great, I work with them a lot, they can't improvise. This has been taken away from them. They have to have the notes. They are dominated by the written page. Their minds have been... Chopin's wasn't. And what he did was when he played, he invented fingering. He made his fingers cross over. Yes? A teacher, you know, at the Academy of Music, even today, would have said, oh, you can't do that. Rap, rap, rap. You must play like Bach taught us to play. Well, he'd been dead 70 years, actually, not crossing over. But if Chopin had known that, we wouldn't have had any of his music. Do you realize that? We wouldn't have had any of his music. So yes, he had a great foundation in music, in harmony, in the structure, the building. But when it came to his imagination, his fantasy, nothing stopped him. And that is what we must give, not to future generations only, but to our children and ourselves. Old dogs like you can learn new tricks. Thank you.
Where'd he go?
As moved as I am by this response, may I just tell you very, very quickly in one word what we're doing. We have a musical theatre project. We are going into schools with it. It's about Chopin while he lived in Warsaw until the age of 20. We have been to 7 schools doing workshops so far. Every teacher has said, this is transforming our children. All over. We're in Mazowsza, and we're doing it everywhere. I mean, look on our webpage or speak to me afterwards. I'll tell you where we're doing it. This has to be a nationwide project for 2010, because otherwise, this great anniversary, the great and unique opportunity that it gives us to change Poland, to give it a chance, will be lost. And I tell you, Mrs. Penderecka and Mr. Dąbrowski and the mayor and anybody else you want to talk about won't give a damn. We have to care. Thank you.